Let me tell you a little story. Hey girl, love me.
What's good, homies, and welcome back to Grim. Today I'm going to be talking about some prime cringe moments from your boy, Post Malone. I'm not even really going to explain who that is, since he's one of the biggest artists currently. You'd have to be seriously living under a rock for the past few years to not know who he is, honestly. But surprisingly, what some of you might not know is that Post is actually a super down-to-earth guy, at least from what I can tell in his interviews and just online presence in general. And he's very well connected with internet culture, which is weird to see from a celebrity of that size. But yeah, Post actually grew up with and was friends with some Minecraft YouTubers back in the day. So I guess we can start off with a clip of that.
You can guess what it is.
Be the first to guess it, you win.
What do you think?
Now to start off, this isn't that cringy in my opinion, or embarrassing. I think it's dope actually to see a young Post back when he was experimenting with music and wasn't really sure of what he wanted to latch onto in terms of sound and start working on improving. Luckily, he found the sound he has now and ran with it, and it has made him into one of the most successful musicians of our time. But unfortunately, this whole video isn't going to be all about how good Post Malone's music is or how successful his career is. There's plenty of videos about that on the internet, and it's pretty straightforward if you listen to his music. It is very catchy. But instead, we are going to dive deep into some hilarious and slightly cringy moments from his past. First up is a legendary song. In fact, it's one of my favorites that Posty has ever made. This was obviously back before he found his calling in pop-infused rap, and before he found his sense of style, or before that at least kicked in.
Our love was as hot as it soared, but you couldn't take it anymore. Why don't you love me? Why don't you love me? Why don't you love me? Why don't you love me?
Okay, obviously this song and video are almost certainly a parody or a self-aware joke, but it is too weird and unexpected, if you didn't know of it already, to not be included in this video. The background track of this song sounds like it was made by a 4-year-old, like learning GarageBand for the first time. It is just so basic and honestly just bad sounding. And the effects were definitely done on a much smaller budget compared to the rest of Post Malone's music videos. I can't actually find the listing anymore, and you guys probably won't believe me on this, but I do troll Grailed a lot, and they always have some crazy stuff on the front page. But I remember a couple years ago finding someone that claimed to have this original bad boy jacket that he was wearing in this video. I don't know if they ever sold it or if it was even legit or not, but it was listed for over $2,000. So maybe a super fan with entirely too much money got their hands on it. I really don't know, but that does it for the first example of his meme and just kind of joke-riddled past. And you guys are in luck. That's the only clip I'm going to show you today that includes this man in short jean shorts. At least I'm pretty sure. Okay, so our next clip is very recent, and it includes a little song called Sunflower. You might have heard it. It's a bit underground, It's got Post Malone and Sway Lee from Ray Shremmerd in it, and it is for an animated film that is getting nominated for all these awards. And don't worry, if you've never heard it, you can probably turn to any major radio station, and there's like a 90% chance that it is playing, because seriously, this song is absolutely everywhere, and for good reason. It's catchy, upbeat, and produced well, just like every Post Malone song, but it is getting very, very old. I find that to be the case with a lot of Post Malone songs as well. Hopefully you guys agree with me on that. Well, anyways, they decided to perform the song at Rolling Loud, which is a huge hip-hop music festival. I think he was headlining this year. And for those unaware, that's basically what Rolling Loud is. But anyways, I don't want to spoil it too bad. But yeah, watch this and really focus on Post Malone's reactions. So I'm not familiar at all with live shows, but it seems like not only is Sway Lee's mic mixed way too low compared to the background track, his auto-tune seems to be slightly out of key as well. I'm not big on music production, but I know how auto-tune works at least, and there is a key that you have to set it to. So if you are singing out of key for that specific melody that you have, it just sounds really weird. And I think this combo was made clear to him by that little earpiece he wears on stage. It's like a monitor for him so you can hear how he sounds. And he was kind of on the fence about singing. You can tell he's a little bit timid about it. So the mixture of Sway Lee's terribly awkward and quiet vocals interacting with the actual background track makes his performance sound really, really scuffed, basically. And even Post is like standing on the side of him on stage looking at him, basically wondering what the heck is going on with his mic. I mean, this isn't Post Malone's fault in any way, obviously, since that is supposed to be the sound engineer that fixes that during the sound check. But in a big festival like this, they don't have as much time in between sets, and they really have no way of making sure that everything's perfect and down pat. But as a closing note, let's just listen to this glorious note that Sway Lee hits and bless our ears one more time. Alright, so up next is short and sweet, but you know I really have to give it to Post here. He is a brave dude because while he isn't fat by any means, he definitely isn't the smallest guy. And I mean, when most of your fan base is composed of rich white girls, let's be honest, stage diving does take a lot of bravery, honestly. He's a stellar performer and loves having that rock star image, so of course he's gonna go for a stage dive still no matter what. Well, here's how that turned out for one of his shows. If I recall correctly, guys, Post Malone did walk away with little to no injuries, thankfully, save for some embarrassment, maybe. But, I mean, it is Post Malone here that we're talking about, so he's usually fine with being at the butt of a joke, and I don't think this moment stuck in his mind for too long, you know, it was just a simple mistake. Hopefully none of his fans got injured that he jumped on, or maybe he just hit the ground, but it did make for a very funny video. Speaking of being the butt of the joke, he actually dressed up as a record store employee on his personal YouTube channel as well, and I think it was for a charity or something, but it was just a funny video, and I did want to touch on that though, because it is a good idea, and the video was pretty funny, but honestly, when it comes to someone as prolific and popular as Post Malone, I don't understand how they expected nobody to notice that it was him. I mean, the dude has more face tats than most rappers nowadays, and that's saying something. And that raggedy, unwashed hair is a bit hard to miss if you know what you're looking for. But hey, they could have used actors. I mean, I'm not one to judge. For him, anything that goes viral is good, so all in all, it was a funny video. And despite us going back right now through Post's history of being uncomfortable in certain moments, luckily in most of these situations, he handled them like a G and just kept it moving forward. And I think that honestly, that kind of self-aware attitude and his lack of an inflated ego helped him garner a fan base like he has now. And it's why he seems so approachable and relatable, which is what made me a fan of him in the first place, and I know there's a lot of people like me that had the same situation. I mean, the dude is just like most college-age guys in this country. He loves drinking beer, partying, and I mean, he makes all this money and went out and bought literally the sickest truck that I've ever seen. Even if you don't like trucks, like I don't personally, you have to understand that this thing is built by Hennessy Performance, and it could probably smoke just about every one of your dream cars, and it's a truck. Name a more college bro purchase than that, honestly. This even further proves why Post is just the GOAT, and he's living every young man's dream life. I don't care what you say. You're probably jealous of him like I am. But to wrap things up, speaking of handling awkward situations well, you know I have to talk about this encounter on The Breakfast Club. Alright, so to give you guys some context, when he first popped out onto the scene, much like with any rising star in music that gets really popular off their first song, a lot of people thought that Post Malone was some sort of industry plant or something like that, and nobody really wanted to give him credit where credit was due. So shortly after dropping his first single or first album, I forget, I think it was before his first album came out, but the first single, White Iverson, was blowing up and he got asked to be on The Breakfast Club, which for those who don't know is a very popular hip-hop and rap culture radio show with host DJ Envy and Charlemagne the God. And Envy was pretty cool throughout this interview, so I'm not talking about him, but you can tell from the jump that the other host, Charlemagne, had something against Post Malone from the very get-go. Just from the stupid questions they asked in the beginning and the small talk that they make, it's almost like he's trying to trap Post into saying something insensitive or bad, and the way that he's talking, you can just tell something is off. And for those who don't know, Charlemagne is a radio host and has been in the game for a while, but nowadays, it seems like he just says outlandish things and grills people to maintain relevance, honestly, or to at least get buzz around his name again. And the whole shtick is pretty old by now, but anyways, there's a point in the interview where things just get downright awkward. Check this out.
And, you know, I just taught myself from there, started writing songs.
Wow. Got you. Are you afraid as a white rapper that you may be considered a culture vulture?
I don't think so. I'm not scared. I'm not scared because I'm not trying to be anybody that I'm not.
True indeed.
I'm just trying to, you know, I like what I like. And I don't think I'm biting off of a certain culture or copying a certain culture or trying to be part of a certain culture because, you know, I like what I like.
So this dude is not even 5 minutes into the interview and he just starts grilling Post Malone, and you can tell Post is even a bit nervous for this, as previously this was seen as a huge move for any hip-hop artist trying to be appearing on this radio show to actually get invited for an interview, and he still really wasn't nearly as famous as he is now during this interview. So after the question, Post just kind of freezes up, like how do you even respond to a comment like that? Charlemagne just continues to press Post throughout this interview, accusing him of being a culture vulture, and he is just unrelentlessly rude to him for what seems to be no reason other than the fact that Post Malone was blowing up at the time and that he's white.
What are you doing for the Black Lives Matter movement?
What?
I don't know.
Is that a serious question?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, and the other thing I want to note is the way that Charlemagne is handling himself in this video. You know, it really makes him look like that father of the girl you're trying to date that just presses you about politics and things that you aren't even remotely interested or involved in, just to try and catch you slipping up and make you say something dumb or offensive. Honestly, this whole interview is just a train wreck to watch, and luckily after this, the internet kind of collectively jumped together to Post Malone's side, as the rude comments from Charlemagne just made him look honestly way more immature and unprofessional than Post. And he's been interviewing for years, so he should know better. Come on, Charlemagne, just be cool, man. Guys, take this as a lesson of what not to do when talking to someone that you might be jealous of. Passion like that can make you talk and act like an idiot, or you can just be a plain old idiot like Charlemagne was in this case. But that pretty much does it for Post Malone today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching some of his older blunders as his career was growing. Some funny stuff actually did happen to him like we were talking about. And as a reminder, I just wanted to say I really do enjoy most of his music, and this dude is talented and creative. So don't take this as me being a hater. I just wanted to share these moments with you guys. So to finish everything off, make sure to subscribe and leave a like right now, guys. If you have subscribed, hit that notification bell and comment down below, notifications on, and I'm going to try to reply to as many of you as I can by saying thank you. Peace out, guys.